Good evening. All right, we set the day and we're here. Hmm. What a day it has been so far, the 30th day in March 2025. I'm super excited to be here. Good evening. Oh my goodness. All right, welcome. I'm not the host today. Another person is going to anchor today's program. And she was in a while ago. I think network bounced her to another place. Let me just keep it at that. All right, we have a guest already here. She's sitting pretty, ready to deliver doses of knowledge. I can assure you of that. If you are watching on YouTube, I want you to give me your best emoji right now. Let's cross over to YouTube to ensure that people are joining on YouTube. So this is just a preparatory, let me say, introduction to get us settled before the anchor for today officially welcomes our guest, who is ready to take us on a learning adventure. Mm. I'll keep the bio reading, but I would just like to say that our guest today is a force in the media space, someone who started, and she keeps sharing a story of how she started. So it's in the public domain. She's the definition of started from the bottom, now we're here. All right, so I'll leave today's anchor to do justice to welcoming her officially. But today we've got Ronke Giwa-Onafuwa right here with us, and I'm so excited that she jumped on this and decided that it's a worthy cause to jump on. All right, so let me cross over to YouTube and see if people are joining at the moment. Let's make the noise. If you've joined on YouTube already, send the link to your friends. Tell them they have to be part of tonight's conversation. It's very, very important. It's important to them in making sure that they kick off their career on a bright note. And we've got someone who's seen many things, many things, and can really share with us. Poor, poor poet as it is. All right, so I'll pause for like 30 seconds to see more people join, and then we kick off. Thank you. All right, the anchor is here, and I'll hand over the microphone to Okorocha. Are you ready?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm so
Hi,
sorry for
the
joining
anchor
in late.
is here. We can't hear you. Sure.
You can't hear me?
Okay, yes, I
Are you
can.
ready?
I can.
Okay, I'm very audible, right?
All right, please go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, all right. Hello, media girls. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Good evening. It's a pleasant experience to be having our monthly webinar once again for the month of March. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar. I believe that at the end of it, we're all going to be having a whooshing experience. Before we go further, I just want to appreciate our convener, the person of Mrs. Oludolakpo Adewale, for this opportunity. It's one thing to be a successful professional, and it's another thing to hold the hands and groom the next generation. Granted, we appreciate you for the work of love, and we're so grateful. Hello, once again, media girls. I believe you can all hear me, and I believe we're ready to go on a very exciting experience. Our guest is already in the house. Please show us some love in the comment section. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce her. She's a walking legacy, a woman of substance, a woman of experience. I believe that we've experienced her in one way or the other. And I promise you tonight, you're going to experience her in a way that you've never before. And she's going to bring to us tonight a very great outpouring of years of experience and wealth of knowledge. Our guest is a media professional. She's an author, she's a content creator, she's a savvy digital media personnel. She's a radio broadcaster with a spanning impressive 14 years of experience in broadcasting. She's a girl child advocate and the convener of Who is That Girl Nigeria, a forum geared towards empowering young girls in their teenage years. She's also the convener of Talk Mommy, an online support community for mothers based in Ibadan. She holds a bachelor degree in English language and literature from the Lagos State University. She has an HND in music production and performance from the prestigious London Center for Contemporary Music, and she has a master's degree in communication and language arts from the prestigious University of Ibadan, Nigeria. And she's currently the general manager of Dominion TV at Dominion Broadcast Television. Please make welcome our distinguished guest, the person of Ronke Giwa-Onafuwa. Hello, ma'am. You're welcome. You're welcome. The floor is yours. Please take over.
Hi, thank you so much, Hope. Thank you very much for having me. Can you hear me? Can
Distinguished
everybody hear me
guest,
loud and clear?
the person of Ronke Giwa-Onafuwa. Hello, ma'am. You're welcome.
Thank you. There's a bit of a feedback, so I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, Hope? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Let me see an emoji. I'm not on
Yeah, we can
YouTube,
hear
but
you.
oh, fantastic. Okay, it is so good to be here. Thank you very much for having me. It's such a pleasure, always a pleasure to, um, be a part of something like this where young people are learning and obviously they want to be better. For me, it's such a pleasure because I love, I love, love, love to teach and I love to also share my knowledge. So it is such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Also to Dolakbo, Remy Do. Thank you so much, sis, for having me. It's one thing to, always have people in your community appreciate your skill. You know how they say prophet is not, honored in their own, community, but I'm glad that she's part of my community But instead of being competitive, she's collaborative. And that's one of the things I want to start with. That is, I'm talking about to showcase your craft. And one huge thing that's really helped me is, collaborating. But we'll talk about that a bit more. So thank you very much, Dolapo, first for inviting me and also for doing this. Because just like Hope said during in her introduction, it's one thing to be good at what you do, but it's also another thing to now put the ladder down and bring people to the top as well. What she's doing is something I'm very passionate about, mentoring young girls, mentoring young people, ensuring that, we leave a legacy. This really is a legacy because, you often hear people, especially in a space, say, oh, we don't find very good, maybe broadcasters or very good lawyers. And that will be the fault of the past generation because if you're not putting the ladder down, if you're not mentoring people, if you're not teaching people, if you're not creating a space like this for people to learn, then in a few years we're going to have a dearth, of fine broadcasters, people who are very articulate. So what she's doing is wonderful, and I really, really celebrate you, sis, for this. All right, so I'm talking about how to showcase your craft. If you can just leave in the chat how many minutes I have, but I love questions because at the end of the day, I don't want to have to talk at people, especially if I'm not going through or if I'm not talking about what you really want to hear. All right, when you think of showcasing your craft, maybe let me see in the comment section. I can't see YouTube and be here at the same time, so I don't know. Maybe Hope can help me. So just drop in the comment section when you think of this topic, what comes to mind? Showcasing your craft, showcasing your craft. What comes to mind? What comes to mind? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Let's fill up the comment section, everyone. Let's engage. I like an engaging audience. So let's fill up the comment section. Let's share your thoughts on when you think of showcasing your craft, what comes to mind? Because I believe that you joining this webinar is because you're expecting something. And that's another tip I'll give you. Don't go to any webinar, don't go to any event without having expectations. All right. It's so important because that will also help you identify what you want to learn. And it also identify what you have learned as well from the speaker. All right. So please put in the comment section what comes to mind when you think about showcasing your craft. What comes to mind when you think about, when you came to this webinar, when you joined this webinar, what was the thing that was going through your mind? Please share in the comment section. Let me see if I can, go to YouTube and maybe see a few comments. Let me see if I can do that. But give people some time to just leave comments, engage in the comment section. Let me see if I can read them before I start with my presentation today. All right, so showcasing your craft, why it matters. It's important before you do anything, your why is important. I know you've heard or been in part of webinars where they say, what is your why? I think it was Simon Sinek that is popular for saying that statement. What is your why? Because if you don't have a why for everything, for anything, it's like saying, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So it's so important to stand for something. All right. So what is your why? I know there are media girls here, people who are looking to, be more visible, people who are looking to get their craft out there. Because if you're talented, but you don't know how to showcase your craft, it's like winking in the dark. All right. So let me close my video for a second. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, let me shut down my video for a second. Let me see. Okay. So how many people know what I'm doing right now? How many people know what I'm doing right now? Absolutely, exactly. So if you're talented, but you don't know how to show or be visible, you're not visible enough. That's what happens. You're winking in the dark. So that's why this is important. All right. Why is it important to showcase yourself as a media girl? Yes, I know some people are very conservative. Some people are wondering, oh, why are all these social media influencers, all these people that are always posting on LinkedIn, all these people that are always showing up on social media, are they just show-offs? Are they just vain? They just like attention. But you wonder, why is it that those people are getting the gigs? Those people are getting paid. Those people are the ones that get influencer jobs. Meanwhile, you are smarter than them. You're probably smarter than them. You're probably better than them. You're probably more articulate than them. But the problem is you're articulate, but you're only articulate for your pockets. All right. You're articulate for yourself. All right. If you're articulate and you're great and you're excellent, but obviously, no, you're not showing what you can do. The people who are not as good as you will get the gigs. The people who are not as good as you will get the opportunities. That's why this webinar is important. And that's why I'm going to teach you how to do that. Maybe you're just clueless. You know you are talented. You know you have what it takes. You're just wondering how to put yourself out there. You're doing a series of LinkedIn posts, or you're just not sure what you're doing. That's why this webinar matters. Okay. All right. So why does showcasing yourself matter? Oh, I've jumped a bit. Let me go back. Why does showcasing your craft matter? In a competitive media space, visibility is key. Everything I've just said now just buttresses that line. Visibility is key. And also, your craft is your brand. The way you present it determines opportunities. I've said that also. There are people who are not as good as you, who are not as excellent as you, who are not as smart as you, who are not as articulate as you, who are not as good at that thing as you, but they're getting all the gigs. They're getting all the awards. They're getting all the visibility because, you don't know how to present um, yourself and present your craft. And that's why this is important. All right. Because it brings you opportunities. You want the opportunities, or are you doing what you're doing because you just want to do it? If that's why, then fine. But you're doing it because you want to reach people, because it may not be about the awards and the brand visibility and everything for you. But if you're going to reach people, you have to visit visible. If I'm going to find you, you have to be visible. All right. For those, apologies to those who are not Christians, but the Bible says, who lights a lamp and puts it under a bushel? Who lights a lamp and puts it under the table? You light a lamp because you want people to be able to see, right? But for some of you, it's like you're a light, but you're under a table. You're under a basket. There's a particular version that says, who lights a lamp and puts it under a basket? All right. So if you're not showcasing your skills, you're like that light who's under a basket. And of course, people will not be able to see you. You will not be able to impact like you want to impact. You can't reach the people you want to reach. Maybe you have, for example, this kind of thing that Adeolapo has for girls. How are you able to find her? How are you able to join the webinar? Because we made it visible. All right. So that's why it is important. This presentation will also cover strategies to effectively showcase your media skills. All right. So let me move on very quickly. What makes you stand out? And that's the first thing you want to ask yourself. All right. I want you to get in the comment section if you're on YouTube as well. What makes you stand out? I want you to think about it for a second. When people think about you, or when you think about yourself, what makes you stand out? It could be something physical. It doesn't have to be deep. Please you don't have to be deep, all right? It could be your eyes. It could be your petite stature. It could be your voice. Let me tell the story of how I got my job on radio. And, I've always known that I have a different voice. My voice is unique. So when I moved back to Nigeria to do my NYC, I served in Oyo. That's what brought me to Ibadan, by the way. I served in Oyo, and I was on camp. And every time I'd speak to people, people would say, you have a nice voice. This was me. I didn't have any radio experience or anything like that. People would say, you have a great voice. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've been singing all my life. And really, I moved back to Nigeria to actually pursue a singing career, a music career. But when I came back and I saw that the music industry was a little, complicated, and it was not as, smooth as I thought it would be. I thought, okay, by that time, I think I reached out to TY Below. I'd produced some songs actually with Mastercraft. Mastercraft is the producer for Whiskey. He used to be a producer for Whiskey. Now he's produced music for quite a lot of people. So someone introduced me to Mastercraft. I went to him, I produced a few songs. So at that time, I decided that I don't know if music is for me, because being talented is one thing, but knowing the business behind it is another thing. All right. So I realized that there was a big business behind music, and just didn't know about. So I decided to go and serve. I went to serve, and I was posted to Oyo State. And I realized in camp, everyone said, well, you have a great voice. You have a great voice. I've always known my voice to be a singing voice, but as a talking voice, I didn't, quite realize that, it stood out that way, in that way. So while in camp, for those who have served, platoon by platoon, you kind of took turns in sort of leading on the ground, on the parade ground. So that day it was time for my platoon to read something on the car, and everybody said it has to be you, Ronke, it has to be you because your voice. And I was like, okay. So they gave me something to read. I stood in front of the whole camp. I read it, and everybody was like, this girl's voice. So when we finished, I was posted to the Polytechnic Ibadan. And for me, I just really wanted to be here for a year and just move back to Lagos. Because for me, it was like, oh, you're okay. So I went to the Polytechnic Ibadan, and I was rejected. for those who have experienced that before, was like, rejected. What am I going to do? So I went back to the NYC secretariat and I told the coordinator who had been the head of my platoon on camp that I'd been, I said, you have a nice voice now. You should be on radio. I thought, okay, I've always actually daydreamed. I've always had fantasies of being on radio and on TV for a long time. From when I was young, actually, I've always fantasized about being on radio and being on TV. So he said, okay, there's a new radio station there, just about a year old. It's called Splash FM. Just go there. I didn't know anywhere in Ibadan. I was this IJGB, and I didn't know anywhere, So, but I jumped on a bike. Thankfully, I met one other boy, a guy who was standing by the road, who heard me telling Okada guys, "Oh, I want to go to Splash FM. I want to go to Splash FM." And he said, "Oh, Splash FM is near my house." He jumped on a bike. I jumped on a bike. Took me to Splash FM at the time. Was in Bodija. When we got there, they said they had moved to their permanent site. This guy, I did not know, jumped on a bike again. Took me to Felele, where Splash FM, was now located. So I went in, met the general manager. You have a nice voice, he said too, and I got the job. Obviously, I started from the very bottom. I started from being a nobody, which is why I feel I'm qualified to teach this class because I really started from the very bottom as a copper who was tagging music at the time. Nobody knew me, and all of that. So I'm telling you that story to say, for me, it will be my voice. All right. So I see some comments on I stand up because of my childish speaking. Childish speaking. Okay, yeah. That's fantastic. And when you talk about childish ways of speaking, I think you said Helen Paul is somebody who has used her childish voice to actually make a lot of money. She realized that she has a way of actually mimicking a child. She's made a lot of money sounding like a child. She's a comedian, Helen Paul. I don't know how many people know her, but yeah. So find what makes you stand out. Identify your niche. What makes you stand out? For some people, you're a storyteller. Also, that's something about me that's also very peculiar that I actually found out recently. I'm a huge storyteller, and that's why I wrote two of my books, Lara's Lessons and Lulu Learns. I have a children's book called Lulu Learns. And I have a book for teenagers, adolescents called Lara's Lessons. So identify your niche. Are you a storyteller, a TV radio host, a content creator, a producer? What is it that you do? And people are just like, you do this well. Oh. Priscilla, you're very good at this thing. Oh, Nancy, you're great at this. You do, and that's the thing. Oftentimes we downplay our niche. We downplay the things that we do well. And that's why a lot of people are just not because they feel like, I just write. I write well. You write well. I'm not very great at writing. And I'm one of those a huge ChatGPT fan. Because ChatGPT has really helped me, help my writing. I was very bad at writing. I'm still very bad at writing on my own. But thankfully, I'm able to use AI to help me, not to copy. I don't copy and paste too. All right. So, but it has really enhanced my writing. So are you a content creator? Are you a producer? What is your signature? Are you bold? Are you engaging? Are you creative? Do you like to draw? What is your signature? And it takes sitting down with yourself. And I'm glad I'm having this conversation with girls because oftentimes with girls we're so confused with distracted with so many things. We don't, especially at a certain age, we're daydreaming of getting married, daydreaming of this and that, but we don't get to know ourselves. We don't form a relationship with ourselves. And it's in forming a relationship with yourself that you get to know yourself, you get to know your niche, you get to love yourself, you get to identify who you are and what your purpose is. And it's so important as girls for us to do that. From a very young age, I encourage young girls to be in a relationship with yourself first. Identify who you are, find your purpose, find your niche. And trust me, when you find that person, you will not allow anybody, to disrupt, you. Know your target audience, who needs to see your work. All right. Now build. I say build. There's so much building that comes with being able to showcase your work. First, build. People want to showcase fluff, and that's where I have a problem. And that's why we have a lot of social media people that are just empty barrels that make a lot of noise. You don't want to be an empty barrel. All right. You don't want to be an empty barrel. So it takes a lot of building. If you don't build something, it's like building a house and there's no foundation. It's going to all come down. That's why we have a lot of flukes on social media. We have a lot of people who are just talking on social media. But you want to build something lasting, then you have to build a strong portfolio. All right. Sorry, I didn't finish my slide because I got so busy. So I'm going to stop it halfway and just continue to talk. So create a digital portfolio. A digital portfolio these days, a website is good, but a website is maybe you're a company or an organization, a website is good, but as a brand yourself, your social media handle is your portfolio. And also, you don't just post a picture today, doing like this today. You must be intentional about how you show up online. If you're not going to go outside in your pajamas, if you're not going to go outside in your pant and bra, please don't go on social media just thinking, I just want to be real. I know being real and no, being raw is different from being authentic. Being raw is different from being authentic. You want to be authentic, not be raw. All right. And what I mean is, I would not go because, okay, I just want to be free. I just walk outside without my bra. I walk outside without my top. No, but I will not go out in something that makes me feel uncomfortable because I want to please people. I want to show up as, and that's what a lot of people do. People mistaking um being showing up and to being fake. You don't need to be fake. You want to be authentic, and that's my watchword. That's my buzzword. You want to be authentic. Oh, sugar. All right. So it's so important to build something that's real and then show up as your authentic self. Uh, all right. So your social media is your portfolio, and you don't want to just go out there raw. Just show yourself um in a raw form. Because really and truly, what you realize is people just laugh at you. People like in Yoruba, apologies to those who don't speak Yoruba. In Yoruba, we say, "Were doing wo, meaning is all nice and good to see, or not nice. It's entertaining to see someone acting a fool. But if it's you, or if it's someone, it's not funny. It's all fun and good to see someone getting dragged on social media. But trust me, I've been mini dragged before. It's not fun. It is not fun. All right. So it is so important that yes, you show up as your authentic self, but not raw. Be intentional about how you show up on social media. Show up in a way that you want people to see your brand. It's your brand, and this is how you want people to see you. And so it's important to be intentional about what you allow people to see. Please, please, and please, it's so important. All right. It's so important. Also, include diverse samples of your work. I see a lot of, especially people who are on radio already, you don't show your work. You're an MC, or you want to be an MC. When you MC'd for your family gathering, you didn't show your work. Why? It's so important to show your work. I hope I'm not going out. Okay. So it's so important to show your work. Include your voiceover work that you did, even if it was free of charge. Include, the video that you recorded for someone. If you want to get more opportunities, show up as that person. So you want to show up as, or I want to show up as that GM or for example, when I started doing a lot of consultation, I started showing the little work I'd done, I started putting it out there. All right. So keep your portfolio updated and your latest and best work, on your social media. It is so, so, so important. All right. It is so, so, so important to show up that way. Let me see. Okay. I wanted to tell a story of my journey. Of course, I've told you a bit of it. I mean, I started off talking about showcasing your work. I started off, let me see. In 2018, I joined Splash FM. And then, of course, okay, have I done this? Okay, in 2018, I joined Splash FM. I started tagging music and just, doing, just running errands. And I say that there's that place for being that errand girl. I know a lot of people want to start from the top, but the only thing you start from the top is digging graves. Except you are going to die. That's the only way you're going to start from the top. It's so important. Even rich people, wealthy people, when they bring their children on board, they bring their children on board from the very bottom. They want their children to learn from the very bottom. So I'm glad that I went through that process of running errands, of sitting down, tagging music. I was tagging music bit by bit, and for me, it was very important. I went through that motion of just being that person who was watching, listening, soaking it all in. And for me, that was so important because it really helped me. It helped me to learn. It helped me to just soak everything in. And for me, it really just it was really helpful for me. I'm trying to just find the rest of my slide. Okay, so it's really important for me. So I started from there, started tagging music, and it was while watching people. And most people that get their big breaks and their big opportunity, get it from, oh, you've just been there, you're just there, you put your foot in. And then maybe somebody who was doing that work just didn't come in, just, wasn't around. And they said, oh, you know what, hey, errand girl, can you do this? And you do it. So it's always important to be around the spaces where you want to conquer, the spaces where you want to be. Be around those spaces. It's super important. Okay. All right. So then in 2000, and I think maybe like a year later, they wanted to just rejig the program schedule. And they decided, okay, you know what, this girl, no, before that, actually, I was doing, because I was always sitting in and helping and doing errands, some of the presenters that were popular at the time would say, oh, take 5 minutes of the show and just do whatever you want. I started doing like maybe just 5 minutes. I was called Gist and Jive at the time, just this 5 minute show, like a diary, like this Copper's diary. From then, I got 15 minutes. From then, I was just told, hey, okay, we need you. We love your voice. We love your energy. And they put me on the morning show. And I did the morning show for about 10 years. 10 years. And trust me, 10 years being on a particular show is a lot, because oftentimes people get very bored of you very quickly. And so for me, being on that show is like 1 minute you are there, the next minute you are not. All right. So after a while, I started doing the morning show. And for me, I would always rebrand myself. After like a year, I'll sit down and think, okay, you know what? People must be bored of what I'm doing right now. I want to do something different. So I'll do something different, and think about how I could, revolutionize myself, reevaluate myself, and just, do better. And that's what I did. I basically just did better. All right. So am I sharing the screen? Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be scaring. Okay. 1 second, you're sharing the screen. Let me check the screen. Okay. 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 All right. So, okay. Fantastic. So I did that for a long time, and that's how for me. And then I also whilst I was doing my show, I discovered social media. It was at that time that social media came on. And social media came on, and for me, I totally embraced it. So for me at that time, when I was on radio, I was on radio for a long time. When tweet there was, I think there was Facebook, and I was actually the one that pioneered the social media department in my organization. I pioneered the social media department, and I created the Splash FM Facebook. I created the Splash FM Twitter handle at the time, and so we're the only ones that was using social media as as a tool to engage with their audience. Then, of course, a lot of radio stations started. We're the first to get verified. In Ibadan, then I was the first OAP to get verified because I was very intentional. Because I realized that, okay, hey, yeah, at that time, a lot of the OAPs were just using their personal social media to engage with their audience. And so, as someone who pioneered the social media department, I was made head of digital media at the time. And so I started using social media because I had been using it for myself to leverage, my brand. I started using it to leverage the brand of the station as well. And our social media just grew. I created a social media page, of course, social media department, and we started bringing in interns, coppers, and we just were the first to actually start creating content as a radio station. And so I just saw our brand just really skyrocketed. So yes, social media if you're talking about visibility, you cannot talk about it without using social media. Social media is your CV, is your resume, is your website, is your landing page. And so that's why it's important to use it. And then of course, you use it to amplify your reach. All right. So be active on platforms like Instagram, like LinkedIn. It's not mature to say, all these people that are on social media, it's not mature. Trust me. It's just you're leaving money on the table. You're losing opportunity when you're not using leveraging social media to amplify your reach. So be active on platforms. And then you can, whilst you are on every social media platform, you can now choose the one that's near and dear to you, the one that you feel like that most suits you. All right. So, for example, some people are great on LinkedIn. They're great writers. So stick to LinkedIn and find a way to also, use what you write on LinkedIn. Just put a picture on Instagram and put a post and then direct people to your LinkedIn. So if you are better at LinkedIn, spend more time on LinkedIn, because what also happens is the social media platforms algorithm notices your presence. So that's why you find that, you spend more time on a social media page, you have more audience, you have more engagement. But because you just go onto LinkedIn and come back, which used to be me, you find out that you are not really growing as much on LinkedIn as you are on Instagram. I spend a lot more time on Instagram. That's why I have a bigger engagement or wider engagement or more engagement on Instagram than I do on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or even TikTok. But if TikTok works for you, you can actually use TikTok to, amplify your reach. Please choose one and focus on it and grow your brand there, because there are opportunities that will come to you. There are brands that will reach out to you because they find you on social media. All right. So that's one major way to showcase your talent, your gift, because we're all gifted. You are gifted. There's nobody who's not gifted. We're all like those men with the talents. We're all been given talents. And so what are you going to do with your talents? Are you going to bury your talents? Are you going to second guess your talent and say, oh, everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing this, but everybody's not you. Everybody's doing it, but everybody is not you. It's important to always realize that. And everybody's doing it, but everybody's not going to do it like you. There's a different, we all have a signature. And when you discover yourself, be in a relationship with yourself, you discover your signature. And trust me, when you're comfortable in your skin, you will do the things that you do, that other people do, but you do it like no one else can. The way I speak, no one else can speak like me. The way I read the news, no one else can read the news like me. In fact, I became so popular in the Southwest with my news, with the way I say my name. The way Olu Dolakbo says her name, that's a signature. So find your signature and carry it confidently, because we all have a gift and we all have a signature and we all have that one thing that just distinguishes us. So find and use a platform. Use social media is such a gift. I don't care what anybody says. Social media is such a gift to me, and I bless God for it every day. So instead of complaining about it, use it to your advantage. All right. So post consistently. Like I said, the algorithm recognizes how long you stay on the platform. So if you stay on it, if you just go on Instagram and post and go out, the algorithm recognizes that. If you go on LinkedIn and go, the algorithm recognizes that. So that's why I say choose one. Whilst you are on all of it, choose one. And then stay on it. Stay on it. I'm not saying go and start aimlessly just looking at other people. Oh, look at what this person is wearing. Oh, look at, oh, Insta blog. Oh, no. When you stay on it, engage, build a community. Build a community. So post valuable content that will draw people to you, and then respect that community. Respect means, if, for example, in real life, I say, hi, let me see who's on here. Hi, Priscilla. You just say, hi, bye. Are we ever going to be friends? Never. Even every time I see you, say, hi, bye. Hi, bye. You can't build a community by saying hi, bye. That's what a lot of people are doing wrong on social media. You just go post your picture and you go. No, go. Everybody that responds to you might have to dedicate maybe an hour a day. And just, okay, this hour is me. I'm going to engage my community. Even if it's on WhatsApp, it doesn't have to be, what's it called? It doesn't have to be on Instagram. It doesn't have to be on Facebook. It may just be on WhatsApp. You can decide that WhatsApp is your tool of engagement, of building a community. Use it and make sure stay there for a while. Don't just say hi and bye. Go there. If anybody says, oh, nice dress, respond to them. If anybody says, oh, I like what you're wearing, respond to them. Respond to your people. Get in their DM. Put something on your Insta story. Be relatable. Do something that makes people think, oh, wow, I actually know her. There are people on radio who beat me in real life, and because of how I'm relatable, they feel like they know me. And I meet people and they're like, oh, Ronnie. And I go, okay. And I realize that it's because on radio, I'm very relatable. So I caused this. So people now think I'm their friend in their head. And so when they see me in real life, they're like, oh my God. And they hug me and they're like, who's this person hugging me? And it's like, okay. So even in your writing must be relatable, so that when people see you in real life, you put a little bit of, you put some authenticity to it, so that when people see you in real life, it actually feels like they know you. All right. It actually feels like they know you. So it's so important. All right. So even on social media, so don't just say hi and bye. Don't just drop your hot take and then you are gone. And then the next minute you come tomorrow again, drop a picture, or you drop an article on LinkedIn. And then you just go. And then by the time you come back, you've seen 20 people have commented, but it's been 1 week ago, you know? And then it's like, oh, now how do you respond to people from 1 week ago? All right. So it's important to be intentional about how you show up, even if it's 1 day a week, 1 day or 2 hours a week. That 2 hours, you must ensure that you are intentional, you engage, and you build a community so much that people now, even when you now say, oh, buy this product, and that's how influencers, do it. They build a community to the extent where, those people now love your content. Those people now see you as, oh, someone that they can always, come to. And then, yes, anytime they now want to sell something, anytime someone gives me a brand to sell, of course, those people will will buy because you have built a community. But if you're a high buy, you don't build intimacy by coming and going. You don't build intimacy by just coming and just saying hi and bye. Even in real life, if you only say hi to somebody, you will never become more than just, oh, acquaintances. I know people use the word friends very loosely, but I don't. All right. So you don't become more, and you want to be more. You want to build a community. So it is so important. So make sure you engage, make sure you're consistent in your post. If you want to say 2 days a week, I'm posting on LinkedIn, 2 days a week, I'm posting, oh, 2 days a week, I'm posting on Instagram. Or one day, if it's that one day a week, be consistent with every Friday I post. People now look forward to that post. Imagine your favorite TV show and they show that show today or radio show. They don't come back until a month later. It's like, no, it cannot work. All right. So also, yeah, post consistently, engage with the audience. I've said that. Network and collaborate. What me and what Delapo is doing today is collaborating with me. All right, collaborate, and we must collaborate. Less competition, more collaboration, especially as women. Less competition, more collaboration. That's how to showcase. There are people who may have a stronger brand than you. You may have even a friend. Some of you are looking for celebrities to collaborate with. There are some of your friends who have, you have 1,000 followers, they have 2,000. Collaborate and get at least 500 from their from our own 2,000 to jump on your own 1,000 to make you 1.5. Stop looking for people who have 20,000, 1 million views or subscribers or whatever. There are people who have 10 followers, and if you collaborate with them, their 10 will join your 10. You have 20. Let's stop looking for people who are up there. There's something called linear or pair mentorship or pair collaboration. Collaborate with some of your friends and get some of the people who follow them to follow you too. So please, less competition, more collaboration. That's so key. Also, who you know and work with matters. Yeah. So when it comes to collaboration, who you know and who you work with matters a lot. All right. So you have some friends, use them. Leverage your friends, leverage people that you know. All right. Attend media industry events, webinars, and workshops. So all of you clap for yourself for being here. Congratulations yourselves for being here because you have learned something today that you wouldn't have learned if you were not here. I know you think, what does she want to come and say? What's there? But hey, there's something there. All right. So it's important to use to go to events, show up at events. It is so important. All right. Also, let me see. Collaborate with fellow professionals, yet join projects, guest features, podcast interviews, volunteer yourself. That's something I always tell people. Volunteer yourself. It is so important to volunteer yourself. A lot of people want to start earning money, want to start charging people. Volunteer, work for free. I've worked for free. I've done emceeing for free. And those are the times when, I mean, you're not paying me. So if I mess up your event, you can't complain too much. But you collected 100K from me, you want to mess up my event, we will drag each other. We will drag, police will carry all of us after I've paid you for an event. Do you understand? So start, cut your teeth with free events, volunteer. Your friends having a birthday party, say, oh, can I speak? Can I be the MC? And I did a lot of that before. Now I charge and I charge well. But I cannot afford to mess somebody's event. And I will not because I've also grown based, from all of the days and all of the times that I've, done free stuff. I have grown. So I can anchor an event with my eyes closed. All right. So do free work. There's nothing too prideful about doing free work. That's where you learn. That's where your host cannot drag you too much. If you make a mistake, they know it's free. So let her just is okay. All right. So do a lot of free stuff. Also reach out to mentors, industry leaders for advice and visibility. You have Dolapo and you have somebody who's so articulate and who has such a wealth of knowledge. Go to her if you have any questions. Speak up. Speak up if you have questions. Mentors are supposed to be people who guide you. I have a mentorship program I do as well. And I always tell them, you are lucky you have access to me. There are people who don't have access to me. So that like 3 people in my mentorship.
Can I pause on that, please?
Yes.
Can you explain that mentorship program for them to also jump and use this opportunity, please?
Okay, thank you very much, Olakwa. So I have a mentorship program twice a year. There's one we're just about to round off on. And I have maybe about 35 people in that cohort. So we have weekly live sessions. I give them assignments. So it's a mentorship program for those who obviously want to be better at speaking or want to be in the media or who are in the media and they want to grow in the media space. And we talk about branding, talk about visibility, talk about speaking, talk about public speaking, talk about, and so we have weekly meetings where I teach and I give them assignments and they do projects and they do a lot of projects. Some of them might be here because I shared and asked that some of them be here. So some of them might be here. So they do stuff like that. So I'm going to have one again later in the year, maybe around October. I will share with Jolako so she can share with this community as well for those who want to jump on in the next cohort. But yes, use your
Definitely.
mentors. You have
Thank
access to
you.
Jolako. You're welcome, Jolako. So some of them have, there was one person now who moved from Ibadan to Lagos and I fixed her in a job. That's what mentors are for. Mentors are not just there for you to sit down and just be taking notes. It's a real life thing. And I don't waste, it's for me, I don't take it lightly. You know, if I allow you in my space, I must add value to you. Your life must be better. If you ask people that I've worked with or people in there's a girl who was in my first cohort, her name is Amaka. And she was so proactive, always, you know, when I realized her talent in social media, whenever I wanted to post, she was always okay. Whenever we were doing a project, you know, we give her, she would do and she did it all for free. This new job I've got is called Dominion Television and Dominion Radio. I'm the general manager. And whilst I was hiring, I just said I must work with Amaka. I must work with Amaka, and I gave her that job. And she's working with me now here. The pros of mentorship and attending these kind of things and showing up for people because they will show up back for you. And she's earning well. And every time someone says, I need a social media manager, I say, Amaka, I've given her at least nothing less than 10 clients. Nothing less. Oh, this Amaka, that
Thank
Amaka.
you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank
Oh, I'm
you.
rounding off.
So
My time
sorry
is
to
up.
interrupt. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay,
Thank you
let me
so
just quickly round
much. I
off.
didn't want you to stop speaking. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me just round off very quickly. Let me see something I've touched. I know. I think I've touched most things, to be honest. So I'm not doing badly. So let me just 5 minutes. I think I've gotten. Okay, I've talked about being visible in the right spaces. In the right spaces, don't just be visible and be everywhere. In the right, be intentional even about your visibility because when you're everywhere, you're too everywhere. People just take you for granted. All right, be courageous. Let me just end with that. Be courageous. It's so important for us women and us girls to be courageous and show up, be confident. You have value to give. Don't underestimate your value. Don't underrate your value. Be courageous. Take up any opportunity that you can to do what you can and put yourself out there. And I know that the world will come to your light. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
So much. Media girls. Whoosh. I told you guys that we are in for an outpouring, and she did exceptionally well, and even more than that. She even came with a slide. I don't know about you, but I was taking notes even as she was speaking. Thank you so much, Ma. This is so elaborate. This is more of like what the world calls today master classes that people pay huge sum of money to attend for just few hours. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful, and I believe all other media girls are grateful for this opportunity. Thank you. You've touched on a whole lot of things from choosing your niche, intentional branding, visibility, collaboration, volunteering, and being opening up to mentorship. Thank you so much. This is a whole lot, and I believe we've all learned a lot. Thank you so much. I believe we have questions. Please, if you have questions, kindly drop them in the comment section. And before you drop your questions, just show your appreciation to our guest. She has did a great job. She has done a great job, rather. Forgive me. She has done a great job. As a matter of fact, these are things that people put on books, ebooks, and they put a price tag to it. But here we are, we're receiving it for free. So she has done really great. Please show her your appreciation in the comment section with your best emoji. I have a few questions here myself. So before the questions start pouring in, I will just go on to ask you some of those questions. As a matter of fact, you've answered most of those questions anyway, but I still have a few questions. So you talk about showcasing our craft in the most elaborate way that anyone can imagine. But there are sometimes that with very sincere enthusiasm, media professionals, upcoming media professionals who want to showcase their craft, but they end up with being, should I say, defrauded, or just because they want to get opportunities to put themselves out there, they end up with the wrong opportunities. So can you briefly share with us some practical ways that, even despite the fact that I want to be visible, what are some practical ways that media professionals can showcase their craft we start falling for the pressure of jumping at any and every offer.
All right, thank you very much. I'm trying to look at some maybe bad opportunities. I always feel like, I mean, when you're just starting out, yes, you make some mistakes. So I wouldn't say maybe there are bad opportunities, so don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's the best time to make your mistakes. You don't want to be a known brand and then start to make mistakes. So I'll say when it comes to visibility,
I don't know if it's just me, but you're breaking up.
go all out. They always say that, people will say I'm doing too much. People will say, but why you keep putting yourself out there? You keep putting yourself. Let me see. I don't know why that is. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you hear
it's
me?
much better. Yes, yes,
Okay.
it's
All right,
much
great.
better.
All right. So I'll say, don't be afraid of being cringe. Don't be afraid of doing too much. Do too much. If you need to, show up every day. Yes, obviously, as your community starts to grow and you start to get the opportunities, yes, you might not have to say, okay, let me do 3 days a week. But if you have the time, trust me, don't be afraid. Don't hold back. Put yourself out there. A lot of people are afraid. If you like to dance, dance on social media. Don't let anybody tell you don't dance. If what dancing is what you like, please dance. But don't dance because everybody's dancing. Dance because you really love to dance. If for me, for example, I start dancing, just know that that will never be me. All right. So I only dance. Maybe I'm just having fun with my kids, but don't dance because everybody is dancing. So you should start dancing. But however, I would say don't be afraid of being cringe. If you like to dance and dancing sort of sells your brand in a way, because there are people who have built such an amazing brand from dancing, great. But also, I guess when it comes to don't just do anything because people are doing it. Do it because it feels natural to you. It feels authentic to you. And yeah, and just put yourself out there, I would say.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. There is a question on YouTube. Okay. Priscilla, if I get you correctly, you're trying to say you like the idea of the mystery behind the voice, leaving people guessing who is the voice.
Okay. You're just talking
Um,
about radio. Let me see.
I'm trying to just summarize, but let me
Okay.
just read the question. It says, I like the idea of the mystery behind the voice, leaving people guessing that who is the voice behind the face. But from your perspective, visual or audio content, which is more productive?
Okay, okay. So it depends on you, to be honest. There are people who have faceless accounts and they're making millions. If you don't want to show your face, it's fine. There are people who have faceless accounts where they do quotes or where they showcase a product and they're making millions. If you want to show your face, fine. If you don't, fine. Only that obviously you grow faster when people can put a face to your voice. And that's why even radio stations now are streaming live because people always want to put a face to the voice. There's a level of trust when people know who's behind the account. However, I see faceless accounts. Diary of a Niger Girl for a long time was a faceless account. We didn't know who was behind that page. And we followed her and she built an amazing community without showing her face. All right. So if you want to be on TV, you want to be on radio, if you prefer radio, fantastic. Just be consistent, show up and be authentic. I think it really doesn't matter. I used to be a radio girl for the longest time. Now I'm a TV girl. However, it's about authenticity and relatability. And when you have those, it doesn't matter when people see your face every day. What matters is that they feel connected to you.
Priscilla, I hope you got that explanation. Baby is also saying thank you, that this is a wake up call for her. Thank you, baby. Our guest has heard you, and thank you so much for putting the.
You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. So, so sorry about that. So I was saying thank you for answering that question, and I believe that Priscilla has gotten clarification on how she can go about that. There is no limitation to it. Do not limit yourself in any way. Go all out. put yourself out there and don't say, I was discussing with a friend a few days ago about a job she was applying for, and she made a comment. And then I told her, you're already disqualifying yourself even before you were
Mm.
disqualified. So why not just put yourself out there, attend the interview, and be confident, just
Exactly.
like you said. Be confident. Because sometimes when people see you and they read your body language, they just write you off even before getting to know the real you. So
Yeah.
go all out confidently. All right, Ma, you spoke about collaboration, and that is one aspect that I must say this generation we should work on. Please, briefly, can you share some insight on how we can collaborate
Thank you very much, Hope.
amplify our work?
Yeah. So collaboration is not just, oh, anybody you meet. You must be intentional about your brand. There are some people I probably wouldn't collaborate with because what they stand for is just not aligned to what I stand for. So intentionality about collaboration is what I'm talking about. So, and I think maybe it goes back to that first question you asked about how some bad opportunities can happen. And I think it can be in collaboration. Somebody's brand can mess up your brand if you're not mindful. So it's important to be mindful in collaboration. All right. So don't just collaborate with somebody because they have 1 million views. What do they stand for? Do they stand for what you stand for? So in collaboration, number one, is important to know what does that person's brand align with yours? All right. So if it aligns with yours, fantastic. And number two, also, like I said earlier, you can collaborate with people in your sphere, everybody's looking to collaborate with someone with 1 million views. Why would someone with 1 million views someone with 1 million views also looking to collaborate with someone with 2 million views? Everybody's trying to use somebody else as a leg up. All right. So someone with 1 million views may not want to collaborate with you that you have 500, views because they're thinking, what are you going to do for me? Or I have 2 million views. However, you may have someone in your department, in your school, a friend who has 1,000 subscribers. Collaborate with those people. Except you have a cousin who has 20 million views. Beg that cousin, use that cousin as, as there are people that have family that have also done stuff with also because they're family. All right. So when it comes to collaboration, we must be intentional about when you go out to events, especially that and networking, don't just sit down. Be visible. Ask questions. Pay attention so that you can have a question. If you go to somewhere where someone you've always looked forward to on social media, you are here now. Ask questions. Let people know your name. Say your name so that when next I see you, your name is imprinted in my mind. And that way, if you slide into my DM, I know I met you here at the Media Girl webinar. Well, I don't know you. You didn't ask any question. Everywhere you go, you say you are networking or you say you attend events, but you're just always timid. You cannot be timid. You must be bold. You must be brave. You must speak out. All right. And so every time you go somewhere, go out there, go to somebody you admire, say, oh, good afternoon. I've always looked forward to you. Look, say something that even they share on social media that, they're like, oh, how are your kids? I know when people come to me and say, how is Tobani? I'm like, oh my God. My daughter's name is Tobani. Sometimes I share about her. And so when people say, oh, how is Tobani? For me, it's like, oh my goodness. Oh, how's Jade? How's Pamo? I don't know them, but it feels like, oh wow, that means this person really does follow me. And so they say, oh, my name is this, my name is that, and I do this, I do that. If I have an opportunity and that person comes to my DM, I will give that person because that person has become visible to me. And I'll be more open to collaborating, more open to speaking with that person or mentoring that person. But if you go out, you're just quiet, you're just staying still, you're never paying attention enough to have a question. That's not good enough. We must be present when we go out. We must be present, pay attention, ask questions, and leave a lasting impression on people.
Thank you so much. The last question. I know the deal was for 7 p.m. We're it's almost 8 p.m. rather. It's 8 p.m. already, but the last question, please. How do you handle criticism from your audience and from peers in the industry?
Fantastic question. And let us call it, how do you handle constructive criticism? Because criticism must be constructive. If you are criticizing me and you're calling me names or you're bashing me, criticism must build up, not tear down. And so a lot of people don't even know how to give constructive criticism. And that's the problem. So let's start from there. If you're going to be the one criticizing, make sure it's constructive. I always use the sandwich method. Oh, wow, that was good. That was really good, Hope. I think you really did a good job anchoring this event. Well done. I always start with that, no matter how bad it was. However, this and this is why I think you can do better. Why don't you try this next time? And then once again, it was brave of you to even do this whole well done, because a lot of people will not be able to even be here and host this. That's how you criticize. And so when people criticize you and they say, Hope, you just did rubbish, please shut them down immediately. That's not criticism. That's insult and abuse. And you shouldn't take that. No matter how bad you were, nobody should speak to you that way. They must be respectful with their criticism. So if you're going to come at me correct. All right. So if someone comes at you and the first thing says, what kind of nonsense did you do? Shut them out immediately. Shut them out and just know that they have a problem. It's not your problem. They're trying to transfer a problem on you. Transfer their problem back to you. Good. That's someone that's not criticizing you constructively. Now, someone says, "Oh, Ronke, I mean, I loved how you did your presentation, but your slides, I just wish." Man, when someone is criticizing you constructively, they are doing you a world of good. They love you. They want you to be better. They want you to grow. If everybody, I mean, the reason why I left Splash was because I'd gone to that level where I was at the top and no one there could criticize me. Because number one, they all looked up to me. They all idolized me. Or they were all afraid because I'm a guy in some way as well. What's that? I still want to grow. I'm still young. I'm still a baby girl. Please don't put me in that madam, that oga place where I don't know. I still want to grow. And if you want to grow and nobody's telling you are doing, because nobody's perfect. So if you find that, hey, I'm surrounded by people and nobody's telling me what I can do better, nobody's telling me what I'm doing wrong, change your circle, please. And that's why I changed my circle really quickly from that organization and went somewhere else. I'm at a level where, yes, I'm still at Oga, but I now have Ogas who can tell me, hey, and I'm not, doing something different. So if you're around people and you're not hearing your friend telling you you can do this better. So know that when someone tells you can do better and they're saying it constructively, they love you. They want you to grow. They want you to be better. So don't fight that person. You should love that person and be like, thank you so much for giving me that feedback. You should appreciate it. So if you don't take constructive criticism, you don't like yourself. So please love yourself enough to be open to taking constructive criticism.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I particularly enjoyed this session. I wish there would be a part two, but thank God there is a replay. So whenever
Yes.
I want this, you didn't just share with us industry-based lessons, but life-based lessons that can take you far and wide, both in the industry and as an individual generally. Thank you so much for the session. Thank you for keeping a date with us. Media Girls, the replay will be available on YouTube. So at any time, if you want to hear this fantastic voice again of our guest, of course, just go to our Convenance YouTube page and listen to the replay again. And I bet you will never regret belonging to this community. Thank you so much. I don't know if our convener has any last words for us or for you.
All I want to say is thank you, thank you, thank you first to Ronke. This is such, one of the things that made me drawn to her is a passion for the things she does, and the fact that she's also passionate about mentoring people, females in the media, females in this space, also endears me to her. And I'm so grateful that she could spare this time. Just like you mentioned, Hope, this is a masterclass. This is what people pay for. And
Yes.
we're getting it on a silver platter, so to speak.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
this is wonderful. I want to say thank you. We do not take it for granted. And we pray more millions in your account, more billions in your
Amen.
account, as you've taught the media girls how to be more visible. We pray that on the pedestal, on the world stage, we're going to be seeing you at the United Nations, at the
Amen.
world stage, like Switzerland, like The Hague, like New York.
Thank
And
you.
don't
I'm
worry,
receiving it.
I'm going to make myself so small I can fit
Oh.
into your hand luggage.
We'll be going together, sitting in
We'll
first
go
class.
together. All right. Thank you so much, Media
Thank
Girls.
you.
And remember, next month is another opportunity. Another Media Girl will be anchoring. I'm not going to be anchoring, no. It's your time. Please shine. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to
Thank you so
post the
much.
information about Runke's mentoring session. So jump on it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, sis. Thank you for the opportunity. Always a blessing,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to come and impact your community of amazing young ladies. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Thank you,
Right.
Bye.
too.
Bye. And
Bye.
bye, Ronke. Please, your social media handles. Let's have that.
Oh,
And your
it's at
books, please.
Ronke Giwa-1. Yes, Ronke Giwa-1, my social media handle as at Ronke Giwa-1. And my books have Lulu Lens and Lara's Lessons. So thank you once again. Thank you and
Thank you.
bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone. See you.
Bye. Good night.